Hello friends, our last skill that we're going to be working on in this topic for adding and subtracting fractions and mixed numbers is adding and subtracting mixed numbers with regrouping. Now we kind of talked about adding with regrouping in our adding mixed numbers video, but we're going to be focusing on subtracting mixed numbers and with and without regrouping as well. So what is regrouping? Regrouping is if your top fraction is not big enough for you to subtract from the bottom fraction from. So just like when you borrow and we're using whole numbers, this is how we would do it with fractions. So the first thing that we have to do is the same as everything else. If the denominators are not the same, find the least common denominator, or least common multiple of each denominator. Then we're going to convert the fractions to have equivalent fractions with like denominators. Remember to perform the same operation on the top as the bottom. This is what we've been doing the entire topic. Okay, so let's go down until step 3. So we're going to do the least common multiple, or we also call it the least common denominator, is how I've been referring to it in my videos. So we're going to count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and I'm going to go until I run out of room. If I don't have one in common, by the time I get to this part, then I can continue. But I'm going to go until I run out of room. 3, 6, I'm going to stop when I get something in common. 9, 12, 15. All right, so we have 15 in common. 15 is my least common multiple, so that is the number I want on the bottom of my new fractions. All right. So then the next thing I want to do is I would like to change 2/3 into a fraction with 15 on the bottom and 1/5 into a fraction with 15 on the bottom. Okay, so this is just filling in the blanks of what we've been doing in the past videos. So what times 3 is 15? That would be 5. So do the same operation on the top that you do on the bottom. So 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, 5 times 3 is 15. 1 times 3, do the same operation, is 3. Okay. So this is now 5 and 3/15 minus 3 and 10/15. Now I can't take 10/15 from 3/15 because that is more on the bottom than it is the top. Just like if I was to subtract 3 from 1, I can't do 1 minus 3. I would have to borrow over in the tens place if I was doing this as a whole number. So how would I do that as a fraction? So what we're going to do is regroup. Okay, so 3/15 is smaller than 10/15, so we have to regroup. Let's see here. So I'm going to regroup only the top number. We would like to regroup the first fraction I forgot to put. So the first fraction is now 5 and 3/15. Okay? So this is going to be the same as 4. Okay? And 15/15. All right. So I looked at the bottom number here, and I could do any number over the same number and it's still 1. So I could have done 15 over 15, 14 over 14, 16 over 16, it's all going to be 1. So I have to look at my denominator that I have in the mixed number that I have to regroup. And that's where I would put this number. So 4 plus 15/15 is 5. This is 4, this is 1, that's 5. Okay? So now I'm going to add my fraction that I have. So this is kind of like borrowing sugar from our neighbor. I'm going to borrow part of a fraction, even though this is a whole number. And now I'm going to add these together. Now I have 18/15. If I was to change this into an improper fraction, it would be 1 and 3/15. Just like this is 1 and 3/15. Okay? So now I'm going to take my 4. So I now have 4 and 18/15. Now I can subtract, make sure I go up here so you can see, 18 minus 10 is 8. Okay? and then I subtract my whole numbers. And remember, we always keep our denominator the same. So that is going to be, if we need to simplify, we will, but we do not need to simplify here because that is in simplest form. So let's do, you don't always have to do this. How do I know when I have to do regrouping? When my number here is smaller than here. I can't take 10/15 from 3/15. That's when I have to go self, I have to regroup. All right, let's look over here. So we have 19 and 5/6 minus 11 and a half. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're going to do 3 different problems as practice. So I want to find my least common denominator for 6 and 2. So 6, 12. I have a feeling I'm not going to have to go very far. So I'm just going to go that far. 2, 4, 6. Oh, 6 will be our common denominator. So now I have 19 and 5/6. I would like it to, oh, it doesn't have to change because it's already got a 6 on the bottom. So then I have 11 and a half. I would like it to have 6 on the bottom. So 2 times 3 is 6. Do the same operation on the top. So now I'm going to rewrite it so I don't get confused. It's 11 and 3/6 over here. Now 5 is more than 3, so I do not have to regroup because I can subtract 3/6 from 5/6. 19 minus 11 is 8. I can simplify this because they're both even, so I can divide by 2. So my answer will be 8 and 1/3. 8 and 2/6 is not simplified. 8 and 1/3 is simplified. I did not have to regroup here because I could subtract 3/6 from 5/6. So let's look at the next one. 8 and 2/3 and 5 and 5/9. So let's find the least common denominator for 3 and 9. I have a feeling it's going to be 9. So I go 3, 6, 9. It's going to be 9. So I don't have to change 5/9. I'm just going to put that over here. So 8 and 2/3, I want to have 9 on the bottom. So I'd have to multiply it by 3, and that would be 6. So I have 8 and 6/9 minus 5 and 5/9. So I subtract my fractions, and then I subtract my whole numbers. So it would be 3 and 1/9. It's already simplified. If I have a 1 on the top, I automatically know it's going to be simplified. All right, this one I know for a fact we will have to regroup. So after we get to this point, then we will have to do our regrouping. So everything starts out the same until we get to where we need to subtract. So my least common denominator between 3 and 12, I'm going to do 3, 6, 9, 12. Oh, 12. Okay, so I don't have to change 13 and 5/12. Okay, 5/12, not 15/12. We always have to make sure that we write those correctly. We do not want to copy that incorrectly because that would give us the wrong answer. I'm going to change this to a fraction with 12ths. So that would be 8. So I'm going to rewrite this over here so I do not get confused with all of this. So I cannot take 8/12 from 5/12. So now we are going to regroup. So I am going to change only 13 and 5/12. I don't need to change my bottom one, which would be 12 plus 12/12 plus 5/12. So this here would be 1 and 5/12, okay, which would make 13 and 5/12. So now I have 17/12. I have 12 and 17/12 minus 8 and 8/12. Zoom out just a tad. Okay, so 17 minus 8 would be 9/12. And then 12 minus 8 would be 4. I can simplify this if I divide by 3. So it'd be 4 and 3/4 would be my answer. So that would be how you would do it with regrouping. or the version of borrowing using fractions.